Welcome! Today, we're going to follow a story that probably sounds a little too familiar for many of us. It's the journey of a single idea. We're going to watch it go from just a thought all the way to a valuable feature. And we'll do it using a case study from Oasis&Brooks to see exactly how the Babok framework stops great ideas from getting totally lost in project chaos. Let's get into it.
So, we've all been there, right? I mean, the project kicks off with this super clear goal, but then, before you know it, scope starts creeping in, priorities become a tangled mess, and those last-minute changes just send everyone scrambling. It feels like pure chaos, and honestly, it's a huge reason why so many projects just fail to deliver on their promises.
But what if I told you there was a way to bring some serious order to that chaos? Well, there is, and it comes to us from the BABOK guide. That's the business analysis body of knowledge. It gives us a playbook called Requirements Lifecycle Management. Just think of it as a set of rules for steering an idea from start to finish, making sure projects actually stay on track and deliver real value.
Okay, that definition sounds a little bit formal, I know, but its purpose is incredibly practical. It's really all about managing a requirement from the moment it's just an idea, all the way until the solution is, eventually retired. The whole goal is just to make sure everyone is on the same page and that the final product actually does what it was supposed to do.
The absolute best way to understand this stuff is to see it in the real world. So let's follow the team at Oasis&Brooks as they get to work on a brand new project, building a custom dashboard for one of their clients. We're going to follow the life of just one single requirement all the way through their process. Right, so every story has a beginning. And for a requirement, its story starts with a Babok task called Trace Requirements. This is where we connect an idea to an actual real-world business purpose. See, requirements don't just pop up out of thin air. They're born from a bigger, higher-level business need. In our case study, the client has a problem. Their customers feel kind of left in the dark about how their projects are going. So the core business need here is simply better communication.
And this is a perfect illustration of traceability. The business analyst over at Oasis&Brooks traces that need downwards. The business need, that leads to a stakeholder need, which then gets translated into a specific requirement for the system. And finally, all of that gets visualized in a design sketch. See how every single step is directly linked to the one right above it? That's the key. This right here is the heart of the job. Traceability makes sure that for every single feature you're building, the team can answer that one crucial question. Why are we doing this? It's what guarantees that every piece of work actually delivers real intended value back to the business.
Okay, let's move on to the next chapter in our requirements life. Now that it's born and it has a clear purpose, it needs to get organized and, well, fight for its spot on the project. This is where the Babok tasks, maintain requirements and prioritize requirements, come into play.
Maintaining a requirement is basically like giving it a formal identity. The Oasis&Brooks team assigns it a unique ID, we'll call it REQ42, and they start recording key info about it, what we call attributes. This whole process makes the requirement super clear, current, and easy for the whole team to find. It makes sure nothing important gets lost or, worse, misinterpreted. And here it is, the classic project curveball. Another stakeholder chimes in with a brand new, flashy idea. And hey, it sounds pretty exciting. But the reality is, resources, we're talking time and money, are always limited. So now, the team has a conflict on their hands.
So what do? Do they build the original status view, or do they jump on this new social media feature? Just going with your gut or listening to whoever shouts the loudest, well, that's a recipe for disaster. They need a structured, objective way to figure this out.
So here's how they make that choice without all the drama. The team uses a tool called a weighted decision matrix. They sit down and agree on what's most important, things like business value and cost, and then they score each idea against those criteria. This is so powerful because it pulls personal opinion right out of the equation. And when you look at the math, it's pretty clear. Our original requirement, REQ042, delivers way more value for the investment. The decision is a no-brainer.
So, our requirement won the battle for priority, and it's all scheduled for development. It's safe now, right? Not so fast. The one thing you can always count on in any project is change. And this brings us to the climax of our story, handling the tasks, assess requirements changes, and approve requirements.
So a key stakeholder sees the design and gets this spark of inspiration. They want to expand on the original idea. And you know what? It's a great suggestion. But just saying yes without thinking through the consequences can completely derail the project. This is exactly why you need a formal change process.
Now here's the crucial part. No change is ever free. The business analyst has to do an impact analysis to figure out the true cost. And as you can see, this proposed change is not a small tweak. It would basically quadruple the timeline and send the costs and risks soaring. This process makes those trade-offs crystal clear for everyone to see.
And this isn't just some casual chat. According to the Baybach Guide, assessing a change is a really structured investigation. The team formally analyzes the full impact, they propose a resolution, like do we approve it, deny it, or maybe just defer it, and then they communicate that very clearly to all the stakeholders. The final call isn't made by just one person in a hallway conversation. The full impact assessment is presented to the project's governance body. This is the group of people who actually have the authority to make informed decisions about big changes to the project's scope, budget, and timeline. And here's the final decision. The committee totally agrees it's a valuable idea, but the impact is just too big for the current project. So they don't kill the idea. Instead, they strategically defer it to a future release. This framework lets them protect the current project's value while still making sure good ideas are captured for later. It's smart. So what have we really learned from our little requirements, big adventure? Well, we've watched it get traced, maintained, prioritized, and even protected from uncontrolled change. This whole journey really shines a light on the true power of managing the requirement lifecycle. This quote from the Baybach Guide really just says it all, doesn't it? The entire point of this whole process is to maintain alignment. It's the golden thread that connects that high-level business goal all the way down to the final delivered solution. It makes sure that what gets built is what was actually needed in the first place. You know, it can be really tempting to look at all these steps and just think, more bureaucracy, more paperwork. But as our case study just showed, this framework is the very thing that prevents chaos. It focuses all the effort and makes absolutely sure that a team's hard work results in real, tangible value. So I'll leave you with this question to think about for your own projects. Are your requirements being carefully guided from birth all the way to delivery, or are they just being left to fend for themselves out in the wild? Because the answer to that question could be the difference between a successful project and a very, very chaotic mess.